Hi, my name is Roxy, and thank you for joining us today to go over some ECW upgrades. Today for our agenda, what we're going to go over is some upgrades, information changes. Now, the main reason for our upgrade to the newer version of ECW is because we were aware of a patient safety issue with some mismatched patient information on the progress note in the dashboard. So with this upgrade, that should resolve that patient safety issue. Also, I'd like you to be aware that as of November 12th, during our upgrade, ECW will be down. So if you have not enrolled in eClinical Mobile through ECW, please get in contact with one of us on the EHR team by emailing the EHR team for more instructions. The ECW system will be down November 12th from 6 p.m. until Monday morning. There will be support on site on November 14th. So if you guys have any questions that arise during that day, please get in contact with someone on the EHR team or one of your super users on site. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the changes you should expect in the newer version of ECW come November 14th. The very first thing that you'll notice, this is a progress note, and at the very top, we no longer have the select button. That was a major patient safety issue when switching patients using the select button. It was causing some different information from the top dashboard and the right chart panel. In some areas, you may notice that the select button is there, but we ask that you please do not use the select button. Another difference that you'll notice is when you're doing your medication reconciliation, if you document that a medication is not being taken, you'll also notice that the PRN is gone. So now it simply just says not taking and will no longer say PRN. So previously we did have the PRN, and that is now gone. Also, in a medication reconciliation, you'll notice that the delete feature has been disabled. So if you try to delete a medication, you're not going to be able to delete it. However, if you do add a medication by mistake during the visit, you will still have the delete feature. Now, a couple of other things that you'll also notice coming in the new feature of ECW, you will be able to prescribe electronic medications with controlled substances using a token. Now, that feature is still something that we're working on, so the registration process is still being developed, but that will be something to come in the near future. Now, one thing I also want to point out is now you can prescribe the same dose of medication or different doses of medication using the same diagnosis. So in my example here, I'm actually going to add Coumadin to this patient using one diagnosis. So let's go ahead and give this patient Coumadin. Now here I'm going to give them 10 milligrams. Using the same diagnosis, I'm also going to give them the 2.5. Now, although I get this alert, I can bypass it by saying yes, and now I have both strengths of Coumadin under the same diagnosis. So on your progress note, it's telling me I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to scroll down to show you. Now, under the same diagnosis, we have both strengths of Coumadin. Yay! Now, another cool feature in the new version of ECW, you will notice that on your problem list, you'll see 10s for ICD-10 codes and 9s for ICD-9 codes. To convert your ICD-9 codes to ICD-10 codes on the problem list, if you were to use this diagnosis in your progress note, you can click the arrow and you'll be rerouted to a screen which will allow you to convert it from ICD-9 to ICD-10. You can use two different tools. The first tool is the GEMS tool. The second is the IMO tool to modify your diagnosis. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is anemia, and I have successfully added it to the patient's chart. Okay. Now you'll notice what once was an ICD-9 code is now an ICD-10 code, and it has been added to my progress note in ICD-10. Now you also notice if by mistake you did use an ICD-9 code on your assessment, you can simply click the ICD-9 button, and it's going to ask, are you sure you want to convert it? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And now my diagnosis that once was an ICD-9 is now an ICD-10 code. Also through the assessment window, if you wanted to also convert your problem list, you can also, it will automatically auto-map to ICD-10. So if you have a diagnosis on your progress note, on your problem list, it will convert it to an ICD-10 code. Now a couple of other features in ECW that you may notice are olives, avocados, blueberries. They've added another fruit to our diet, which is the banana, or also known as the lemon. And what this feature does is it will automatically hide the top dashboard and the right chart panel when you first enter a progress note, and you can bring that information back by hitting the arrows, and that information will come back. Now, I like to see the top dashboard and the right chart panel, but that is a feature that you can use. The select button, remember, is now gone, so we advise you that if you do see the select button anywhere, please do not use that. It will also be missing off of the hub as well. Another feature, when you scroll down on your right chart panel, you'll notice that your medication summary can be grouped by medication or by date. So you'll have different pages if the patient has multiple medications. This is a feature on your settings. So if you'd like to set this in a different way, you have your File menu, Settings, My Settings, and by clicking on the Views tab, the feature is the right panel med summary default view. You've grouped by date or by medication. Now a suggestion would be to group by date because this would be the current medication the patient is taking as of today's date. Now another thing you'll also notice, I'm going to go to the hub real quick. If you try to change any allergies or any histories for your patient using the right chart panel, you'll get this new warning, which lets you know that any changes made to the allergies will not be reflected in an encounter, but will reflect in next appointment. So that is a patient safety, and it's just alerting you of that. Now I'm going to switch over here to the real environment so you guys can see a couple of the things that are still going to stay the same in the new upgrade of ECW. Now for some of our patients who use the CPSC program, you may notice that on their hub, their electronic prescription log is missing. However, it is there. It's just hidden. So this little teeny tiny sliver, if you click on that, will bring you to the electronic prescription log where you can see all of the prescriptions that were sent out electronically for this one patient. That still will be the case in the new environment, the new upgrade of ECW. Another thing I do want you guys to be aware of is we will have electronic health exchange. Now we're going to have more trainings, more formal trainings on this, but to let you know what electronic health exchange is, it's a way for us to be able to share our ECW records with other health organizations that use ECW in a health exchange. So we would be able to share our records with Petaluma Health Center, West County Health Center, and other health organizations that use ECW. So those trainings will be soon to come. Now I want to thank you for joining us today in our ECW upgrade training. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the EHR team by email or contact one of your super users at your site. Thank you.